What is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade coming to y'all with that what to expect prediction on the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that a lot of people love and they really want to know what people really think about this team. They got some good players like Marcus Smart, obviously DeAndre Ayton to give them some wing depth and also some interior help offensively and defensively and rebounding. And then you look at the fact they still got LeBron and still one of the best players in the league. They still got Luka Wonderboy, the Don Doncic also, and he looks better. He looks like he's going to be playing another great season, and hopefully he's healthy this year because he is one of the best players in the league. Also, and then you have Austin Reeves and Rui Hachimura who can make shots and make plays for this team. So let's get into it. For people that don't know, the Los Angeles Lakers won 50 games last year and lost 32 of them. That's a 610% win percentage. So that's good to see. And they had some problems, and obviously they lost Anthony Davis and got Luka Doncic, and they didn't really have a lot of time to, figure out a roster that works with him and LeBron. They had this off season to fix this roster up a little bit, stitch it up a little bit, and find some players that fit both of these players and Austin Reeves because that's their playmakers, that's their ball handlers, that's their decision makers. And now this roster looks a lot better than it did last year. It's not over the top that much better, but they filled some needs that we knew they needed to fill with some quality players. And now they just hope to have a better season. They do have some players on this team that I kind of question if they're going to play hard and if they're going to go out there and play the way that they're supposed to. But you can say that about every team. And we can start it off with DeAndre Ayton. He's the most important piece to this offseason because he's a guy that can be really, really good in the paint, and he also can shoot a little bit, and he also can make free throws. So that's something that they needed. Obviously, Jackson Hayes is still on this roster, but DeAndre Ayton gives them steadiness. He gives them toughness a little bit, even though he's not as physical and as demanding as he used to be, especially in Phoenix. But he is a guy that is better than all the other centers that they had last year, and you can look at that as an upgrade, and that's what they prioritized this summer. Getting Luka Doncic that big that can run in transition and still finish, that can get deep post paint touches and still be able to go up and make a shot or just be able to catch lobs or shots around the rim and just be able to finish strong while still being a great rebounder. And DeAndre Ayton checks all those boxes, and it makes sense why they went after him. Plus, DeAndre Ayton is in the prove it year where he's not gonna get paid that much money next year after this wave is up, or you can say after the next 2 years, because he has the ability to possibly come back with the Lakers because of the deal that he signed. But he's going to be looking to make a lot of money. He's going to be looking to show that he's a max player. And if he does, it can hurt the Lakers because their ceiling is Luka and DeAndre right now with Reeves. We don't really know what they're going to do with Reeves because he chose not to take the extension. He wants more money too. So one got to go. And like a lot of people notice that LeBron may be the one that has to go because of his age. And I don't think he really cares too much because if they don't win a championship this year, it's just like running it back over and over again because they limited to what they can do and they're limited to the options that they can put on around his roster because him and Luka is just going to make too much money, and then they have to pay Austin Reeves and some of these other role players, and then it just gets tougher to have a quality roster around Luka, and that's why they went with some of these guys that still have chips on their shoulders and really want to prove that they still belong in the league. And Marcus Smart is one of them. I think that he is a guy that has been so loved because he plays so hard and he shows how much he wants to win. But he also been one of those players that can't make a shot or can't really make a three. And then you look at it like, man, that's what we need you to do. If you can do that consistently, then you can be a great, great player for us. And that was always the hit or miss of Marcus Smart in his career. He can always be a quality defender, but he can also be a bad offensive player. And I think that he's going to get a lot of open looks and a lot of open opportunities. It just, can he knock them down, and can he really be a threat consistently throughout the season and throughout the playoffs, to where he isn't somebody that you would have to bench, or he isn't somebody you would have to say, we just can't play you as much as we want to because you just can't help us out when it comes to putting the ball in the basket. And that has been one of the toughest part of Marcus Smart. He plays so hard, he wants it so much, but the fact that it's so tough for him to score sometimes can make him feel and make him look a little bad out there on the court. Um, Obviously, Jared Vanderbilt is a good player for them. He showed that last year. Um, he was good with the rebounds for his size and for his position. He also was able to shoot a decent field goal percentage the last 2 years that he did play for the Lakers, and you can also say the last 3 years if you wanted to stretch it a little bit. But he does need to continue to try to find a way to improve his 3 point shot a little bit more, and he does need to find a way to continue to bring it defensively. He showed that he can still be a decent switchable defender. He needs to continue to do that at a high level without fouling, which he has shown that he can. They relied on him a little bit. Like I said, he didn't play a lot of minutes. He just played respectable minutes, and he is a rotation player for them, so it's going to make sense for him to try to bring some energy and some effort into this next season, because he's in a prove it year two, and he's still young enough to get a nice contract again. So we'll see if he is going to be able to do that, because that's what he's going to be aiming to do, because that's his hidden agenda, which makes sense because not something that people don't understand as much now that they did back then, about how players really do think outside of just being basketball players. Um, Gabe Vincent, he's 29. He's been one of their better shooters on their roster. They do really love what he brings to the table. I don't blame him. He was 35% last year on 4.3 attempts, and he really can make those shots, and he really can make a little bit of plays when he's out there. They relied on him a lot last year, 21 minutes for that guard help and that floor stretching and floor spacing ability that he showed that he can have. He is shooting 33% from his career, showing you that he has been able to maintain an average to three average, and I'm going to see if he can increase that to being around 37 to 38%, because he's going to get a lot of open looks and a lot of open opportunities like he did the last 3 seasons, but he just have to continue to be prepared and ready to shoot, because that's the role he's going to have on this team. And Austin Reeves, he's old. 27 is old in the NBA. As funny as that's going to sound, because it's very young if you're not an NBA player, but he's one of those players where he's trying to get that next big contract to be set for life, even though he should already be based off his last contract. But he's already been showing you that he's willing to work on his game. He's willing to do what the team needs him to do. He's willing to evolve as a player, and he's a guy that's a shot maker slash combo guard. He has good size. He has good IQ. He has a good understanding of how to play the shooting guard position, and sometimes he even can switch it up in certain lineups and be an off-ball threat or be an on-ball threat, depending on what the team needs him to do. And he's a guy that's always ready to score, and that's one thing you have to like. The problem is defensively, him and Luka can be bad, especially on the perimeter, and this is a perimeter game for this modern era. And if you can't stay in front of guys, or you can't not foul them, you have to be more disciplined. Basically, it makes a lot of sense for Austin Reeves to try to take a leap this year. If he stays about the same, then I think the Lakers win around 46 to 52 games this year. And that just shows you how tough it is to win in the Western Conference. Jake LaRavia, he's a guy that can really play. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to be hiding in the corner trying to score in transition for the Lakers. Just get those small quality points. He's a guy that shot 37% from three in his career, and he's been a decent high volume scorer last year and one of his other years, which was his junior year. and it does make a lot of sense for him to still be looked at as a quality scorer. And we're going to see what he brings to the table. We know he can rebound. We know he's a guy that's can make the extra pass. We know he can turn down a great shot and pass it for good shots or better. And he's willing to fit and stick in some lineups. And that's what they needed him for. That's why they wanted him. And he's a quality wing in this league. And we'll see what he does for the Lakers. Dalton Connect, you can't really ask for him to do much. He's a rookie. He's going to be less dependent on because of the Laravias and the Marcus Smarts. But he understands my job is to come in and provide spacing and provide high volume scoring when it comes to perimeter or just scoring in general. He understands that. It was kind of crazy that he almost was traded for Mark Williams. They had to go back on that trade and bring him back so he knows the reality of being in the league and how it's a business too. And now we're going to see him play probably about 7 to 15 minutes, depending on injuries, depending on how much he's needed. And he just got to be ready to be a microwave type of player off the bench. Maxi Kleber, he's good, a nice sized guy. We'll see if he stays on the roster or if they go in a different direction or if he's going to be on the roster the entire year. We don't know about that yet, but he is a guy that can finish. He can shoot a little bit. He can defend a little bit. And he can just be a plug and play type of guy. So it does make sense for them to keep him around because he's probably going to be one of the best bigs that they can get for the price that they're going to have to pay him. And that can just be the way you have to look at it. LeBron, Ramon, James. He's the highest paid player besides Luka. Him and Luka is the body and the spine of the team. Their ability to make the right play and get guys open shots and good looks and build their confidence up. Plus them being able to handle the ball and get to the rim and get to the free throw line and make big plays and big shots. That's what they're going to do. That's what superstars do. And I think Luka and LeBron is going to bring that without a question, without any doubt. That's something that we know for sure they are going to do. So I just look at it like as long as LeBron is playing his game and Luka playing his game and they're finding ways to play off of each other from time to time throughout games, they're going to help the Lakers be a hard team to stop. They're going to help the Lakers be the hard team to beat. And 1 year of being more familiar with each other, communicating better with each other, understanding each other, and pushing each other to be the best that they can be as teammates and as players. I think that that's why they should be able to win more games than they won last year, but not by much. But Luka and LeBron is a good duo. They're good, and this probably might be the last season that we see it. But at the same time, it's going to be fun to enjoy what they can do as a duo. And Rui Hachimura is really good. He can make threes if you leave him open. He can make mid ranges. He's athletic enough to put the ball on the floor to be able to score in the paint or get into the rim in general. He's a decent transition player. He just fills a lot of roles and fills a lot of needs on this roster as a wing and as a guy that can play the 3 or the 4 and sometimes small ball 5, depending on what you're trying to do with him in that lineup and who's out there with him. But you know, you can say the same thing about LeBron sometimes too, but he's getting a little older. I don't know if you want to do that as much. And then Luka, if he can continue to be that offensive force and a guy that can still help with the rebounds, help with the passing, and still be able to score at will, they're going to be beating a lot of teams in the fourth quarters. They might even beat a lot of teams in general because it's going to be harder to guard this team compared to last year because of the pieces they chose to put around them this year, and just more growth just because they have one more year under their belt together should make this team a little bit more familiar with each other, and that should help the chemistry, and the chemistry should help them execute better on the court. Not only that, you got Jackson Hayes coming back. As long as he's athletic, as long as he's playing hard, that's all you can really ask for him to do. And Bronny James, you just look at it like he can stay in front of guys, make things tough, make things difficult, make some shots here and there, or just be ready to play 5 to 10 minutes and just go out there and push yourself to play hard. That's all you can really want from Bronny James at this point of his career. And that's about it. You look at R.J. Davis and Eric Dixon and Kyler Kelly. and Arthur, and also Chris, and you look at Augustus. Those guys may not even be on the roster by the end of this season. They're just guys that are gonna be in and out on the roster. Maybe play a little bit, maybe not. Maybe be used, maybe not. Maybe cut in training camp. Maybe cut by the end of the season. But if they're not, they're going to be guys that are going to be used so little that they're not going to really make too much of a difference or be too relied on or depended on. And it's not a bad thing. It's just how the NBA goes when you're young, or they have established veterans and they want to play the guys that can help them win, and they know they can help them win. And those guys are just not going to be guys that's going to be used and utilized that way because they haven't proven it or showed it just yet like the other guys. So I doubt they get on the court that much, and I doubt they ever stay on the roster for more than a year or two, or even for a couple months. Just because if you have a chance to pick up a guy you like for a cheap contract that's a veteran, you're going to always go in that direction. And with the younger players, it sucks, but it is part of the game, and it is something that's always been, a preference for organizations and teams. Other than that, I would say, like I said, the Lakers should finish between 46 to 52 games. If they get to 54, I probably won't be too surprised. Basically, what I'm saying is if they stay healthy and they play the way that we know that they have the ability to on both ends of the court, we know it's going to be a little bit of a back and forth sometimes against these teams in the West. It's going to be going up and going down. But what I'm saying is the Lakers should be a playoff team without a doubt, and that mainly goes based off health and how hard they will be to stop offensively, and they have enough playmaking and enough scoring to bend defenses and force them to pick their poison. And then it's about what can you do to them, and that's the question of why I don't have them winning more games, because they have a lot of ways you can attack them. They have a lot of ways you can come at them, and if they don't find a way to cover that up or they don't find a way to hide that a little bit more, they can lose a lot of games that way too. And that's why I don't have them like a team that's winning 60 or 58 games. It's a legitimate reason. It does make sense if you watch the Lakers the last 2 years, or you watch them especially last year. Some of these things are in the open. I don't really think they fixed them, because that's the hardest thing to do. Especially when some of these guys, they are what they are. They're gonna be what they are, and you have to accept them for that too. And that's the toughest part about it. When you're a diehard fan and you want them to win a championship, that might be their Achilles heel of why they don't win the title this year. Although they might look good and show flashes, it is what it is, because it's just the truth. Comment, like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell for more analysis. I make conversation videos just like this about NBA only topics. Also do breakdowns with real footage of legends, current legends, rookies, future stars, and also do mock drafts and draft coverage. Plus, I got over 3,000 videos already on my channel that you can watch and you can enjoy right now for free. Not only that, I upload videos each and every day. So if you love basketball, you can't get enough of, you really want it, this is the channel for you. I promise you. Not only that, thanks for watching. Thank y'all for appreciating the videos for what they are. Thank y'all for making time for me. And thank y'all for caring and wanting to hear what I have to say and what I think about these topics, and breaking down the game for y'all and seeing that y'all really love it and really enjoy it is one of the best feelings you can get as a content creator. Since I chose this job and I love doing this job, it's good to see that y'all feel the same way that I do when I'm putting out and making these videos. Other than that, thanks for watching. Thanks for the support. Y'all stay blessed up, and I'm going for now. And hopefully I can see y'all later today or tomorrow with more content. Peace out.